Welcome into week number 5 of the Holiday Hold'em Challenge. Hey, I hope you are doing great. We are right in the midst of this in the Holiday Hold'em Challenge, and this week we have a couple things going on, and I want to make sure to highlight that before we get into our message. This week we have coaching sessions. We also have our in-body scans, and we have a fun day, Thursday, Friday, whatever, to wear an ugly sweater to trainings. Number one, we will be setting up coaching sessions for this week. I'm going to include a link to my calendar below so that you can log into that, or you can log into Teresa's calendar as well to help you set up, if you have not already set up time for our one-on-one coaching session for this week. We want to make sure we get those in so we can check in on food, we can check on how you're doing, or answer any questions that you have. So we're going to do that. Number two, we have our in-body scans. So anytime before one of your sessions this week, preferably early, Monday, Tuesday, if possible, to have you come in and do your in-body. Once you do that, you can take a picture of it and send it to Teresa or I through Voxer or through Messenger, whatever is easiest. That way we can take a look at that. And then obviously we can talk through that at your one-on-one. Those are the two updates there. The third thing is this is listed on the calendar for Thursday, but obviously Thursday is not one of our larger training days. So if you're not here Thursday, if you're here Friday, or even potentially Wednesday, it's Ugly Sweater Day. So we want you to wear an ugly sweater. You can wear an ugly sweater t-shirt, whatever, to the gym, just to have some fun, to get another gold star, to have something to participate in. Listen, I'll give you a bonus point. You take a picture of you here in the ugly sweater and post it on social media. We'll give you a bonus star. There's that, just to have some fun. This week's message, I want to make sure as we get back to our schmecks. Last week was kind of a check-in because we're at the midway point, all right? This week, getting back into our schmecks, one of the things that I wanted to talk through was mood and energy. Mood and energy are super important indicators of where we are. You see, when we step back and we can look at our nutrition, we can look at our exercise and how that correlates to fat loss and weight loss and maintenance, or wherever we're at. But one of the things that we use the SMEX for is to adjust and evaluate how we're doing. When you look at our mood and our energy, those are two things that can give you an idea of whether you are in a good place to succeed, whether you are eating enough, maybe you're struggling, whatever it is. Those are two great indicators to kind of give us some ideas. When you look at mood, it's not just about, oh, I'm happy all the time and everything's great, but it is an opportunity to step back and think, how am I doing? Like over the last week, have I been in a pretty good mood? Or am I really stressed out? Am I tired? Am I snapping at people? Am I really just not in a great place? If those are the cases, then we step back and go, hey, how does this correlate or relate to our plan, our nutrition? Are we eating enough? Are we eating enough good food? Are we eating our vegetables? Are we eating things that are going to fill us up? Or are we doing things that are setting us off? And maybe it's not correlated. Maybe you have things that are going on, stressors outside of your food and nutrition that are just weighing on you. Somebody's sick or you're going through a tough time, like that may not have anything to do with it. But it also is a great indicator of where you are. So if your mood is off, it's a chance for you to stop and say, what do I need to adjust or adapt this week so that I can get better, so I can be in a better mood, in a better place, which will allow me to ultimately eat better and feel better. Energy goes along the same lines, but energy digs a little more deeply because energy is specifically correlated to our nutrition. If we're looking at where you are and you have been down or you have been tired, remember, we can only be in a fat loss or weight loss mode for so long. The Holiday Hold'em Challenge is ideally that we're staying in the same place. We're not putting on weight, right? But we also don't want to be in a massive caloric deficit. Because when that happens, if you do that for extended periods of time, then ultimately you're going to be in a low energy state. Clearly with your energy, it has to do with your sleep, it has to do with your nutrition, it has to do with your training. All three things factor in, but nutrition specifically is one of the greatest impacts on your energy. If your energy is down, if you're feeling tired, then you need to step back and say, what do I need to do? Do I need to make sure I increase, maybe it's breakfast that I need to eat. Maybe I throw in something in the morning so I have more energy throughout the day. Or maybe you do better by not eating breakfast. Again, there is no set in stone pattern of when you should eat. I think eating breakfast for the most part, for most people, is the best option, but it may not be for you. The big key though between mood and energy is actually taking the time to stop, evaluate how you're doing. We track food and we track our training and our heart rate and blah, blah, all these things. But if you actually stop and ask yourself the question, how am I doing? How's my mood? Maybe you ask your partner or your spouse, or you ask your family or whatever. If they're like, Mom, you've been really off, or whatever, your coworkers, dude, you are moody. That's a good opportunity to self-reflect and evaluate and to figure out how you're doing. Because these things actually become a vicious circle if we let them. We can also make it a virtuous circle. It can be good or it can be bad. If our mood is in a bad place, then we're likely to eat poorly, and that ultimately leads to less energy, and less energy means I don't want to go work out, and I don't want to go work out means that I don't feel good over here, so my mood is down, and it just kind of goes in this cycle, right? But ultimately, if we get in a good place and we're like, you know what, I feel good, my mood is up, my energy is up, and so I want to go work out, and I want to make sure I stay on this plan, so I'm going to continue to do the right things, then we get in this virtuous cycle. Stepping back, evaluating where you're at, and knowing how that is going to impact your mood and energy and how you use your food is a big piece of success. This is why we use the Schmeck's formula, so that it's not just looking at specifically only nutrition, but it gives us a bigger picture to evaluate how we are doing. Your goal this week is to look at where you're at. And remember, if your mood and energy are off, you may be in this vicious cycle of, I'm not in a good place. It only takes one decision to start to move that back toward the positive. It takes one choice in this moment to say, you know what? I'm going to do something today. If you're not in a good spot, maybe it's go for a walk today, just to get some energy flowing, get the endorphins going, maybe clear your mind a little bit. Do something, get a workout, whatever that means for you. You're one choice away from changing your mood and your energy. Take that step today and make sure if your mood and energy are off, put yourself in a better spot. If they're great, let's keep moving forward by keep making great decisions in order to help you continue to make progress. That's week 5. Make sure we get in our coaching sessions this week, our InBodies, and wear your ugly sweater to movement. We appreciate y'all. And as always, if you have questions, you can drop into the Voxer chat. You can message Teresa or I directly. And don't forget to be great today.